Hey guys, what's up? It's Adam. First of all, I just want to apologize in advance for the terrible audio quality at the moment. I am moving my office from my dining room to my spare bedroom here, as you can see, and it's just bare white walls, hence the echo and terrible audio. Also, I lost the thing that goes on top of my tripod to hold this camera I'm holding right now, unfortunately. So I'm going to have to find a replacement for that. But anyways, what is up with this video? Thank you all who subscribed to this channel. We are now at 140 plus subscribers. So I'm glad I met my goal of 100 plus. And as I said, this video here is going to be my equipment for the ghost hunting and urban exploring adventures I plan to take here. So let's get right into it. I'm going to go ahead and break down the equipment here and show you guys each piece of equipment the best that I can and explain it to you in terms of how I use it personally. So let's get to it. Alright, the first piece of equipment I want to talk about here real quick is my digital camera, the DSLR Canon EOS Rebel T5. This is a decent DSLR camera. You know, it's not one of the best, actually probably entry-level camera here. But I do enjoy it for my purposes. I use it both for ghost hunting, urban exploring, but mostly primary use is when I do game development and I want to start modeling assets of objects that I find in real life. I just take pictures of them and use those as references. This camera here comes equipped with the 18-55 lens and the 75-300 for those distance shots. Again, I apologize for the terrible camera angle right now. I'm recording with my other hand. So let's go on to the next piece of equipment. This one here is pretty straightforward. Alright, I might as well just get all the cameras out of the way. Now you can see my GoPro set up to Hero 3 with 3 batteries total, 1 in the camera, 2 additional ones. I use this to mount on my head, so when I'm doing my exploring you kind of get a first-person perspective. Nothing too fancy about this GoPro setup. It doesn't have night vision, unfortunately. I wish it did, but this is kind of like a backup camera to the camera I'm using right now. So again, we got the head mount here. This actually mounts to like a static position. If I'm at a place somewhere and I want to add a static camera, I can do that. And that's about it for this particular camera, the GoPro Hero 3. So now I'm going to go ahead and switch to my DSLR to record the camera I'm using now. So heads up, the audio is about to dramatically change. Okay, I'm back now using the DSLR for this particular instance. This is my main camera setup here. It is the Sony Handycam HDR PJ710. This camera is about, let's say, 4 years old. Great camera. It has image stabilization, so it keeps a nice stable image while you're recording. Also has what the most important part is the night vision capability. So as you can see here, it has the night shot, which enables night vision. So let me just move in here, turn on night shots, and bam. It has the night vision, and that's what I need mostly at night because most of the time I'm roaming around these places in pitch darkness, and this is my only source of light. So it's pretty handy to have that. So with this camera also has a 5.1 Dolby surround sound recording, and it also has a built-in projector for me to review my material if need be. Great zoom. Overall, great camera for when I picked it up. I'm pretty sure there's ones now out there that blow that one out of the water. This is the main camera here. This right here is a spare battery. Let's get that out of the way. It's pretty straightforward. This here is a rig to mount this light here. This light is very important because it's infrared light. And can we get any sort of feedback? No, I can't on this camera, but pretty much this is like a spotlight I attach to this metal bar pretty much, which gives me additional infrared lighting for night vision. To be honest, this one here could be a light a lot brighter, so I might look at better options for that. So again, this is my main recording camera, and now I'm going to go out into the more interesting things. Alright, now to any important investigation or when you explore the dark, or just in general, it's a really good idea to have a flashlight on you and not one by your cell phone. Your cell phone actually produces decent light, but not good enough in the situations that I find myself in pitch blackness. I have 2 flashlights on me at all times when I go out exploring or ghost hunting. These are my two main stables that I use. This right here is a Streamlight. This right here is the Streamlight Stylus Pro. Awesome flashlight, and it's like 20 bucks. I definitely recommend picking one up. And this one right here is the Streamlight Pro Tac 2L. This one here is a lot more heavy duty, though. It requires special batteries, as you can see. Look at this thing. It's insane. There's a few different settings here: the bright, strobe, and low light. So it's several different types of lighting situations, but I usually just keep it bright mode for a few seconds and find my path and then continue forward. Another thing about ghost hunting, a tip for this, or urban exploring, is a lot of places you end up at, you really do not have permission to be at. So it's always a good idea to keep the light low to the ground and avoid keeping lights on at always. It's a good way of getting caught and arrested. But you didn't hear that from me, guys. All right, so let's go to the next equipment. All right, what you see now are EVP recorders, or better known as standard digital voice recorders. That's right. Even your phone can be used as an EVP recorder. Now, the important thing you need to understand what an EVP is, it's short for electronic voice phenomenon. And this is a good way to build solid evidence on your case of a paranormal investigation. Pretty much what you do with these devices, or even your phone, is you go to a place you think has activity, haunted, or whatever the case might be in your situation, and you do an EVP session. It works like this. You go to the area, you sit down, and you be very quiet. Let's get your mind ready, and you ask a series of questions. But the key thing you want to note to yourself is after you ask a question, you have to be silent for at least 60 seconds. So, example would be, hey, is there anyone with me right now? And then I would wait a solid 60 seconds. I wait at least 2 minutes on my side personally, just to get that solid gap. So if there's any sort of spirit, ghost, or energy there, you give it the time to respond to your questions. I see a lot of mistakes where people ask a series of questions very quickly without allowing them to respond, and then you get it all cluttered. Another thing, oh sorry, that's my dog just going spastic behind me. Let's just see what's up. George, what are you doing? Okay, there he goes. All right, anyways, as I was saying, another thing I see a lot of people make mistakes is you really need to be keen on tagging any noises that you do hear while you're doing the investigation, while your EVP session as well. So when you're doing an EVP session, right, you ask a question, and then all of a sudden a truck drives by, a plane flies by, a noise happens that you physically can see or you know what it is. And at that time you should tag it and be like, oh, that was a car driving by, or oh, that was so-and-so, he just scratched his back or whatever. And then that way when you later review the evidence that you've collected, you don't confuse it as some sort of EVP. So that's one tip I have for you guys, is to make sure you always tag any noises that you do hear that you are 100% sure of what they are. And also it's good to get quite a few of these set up for backups and then static locations. So sometimes if I'm at an inside place, I'll leave these guys at different parts of the building and let them run all night. So that way I can review and see if I get any EVPs that way. But downside of that is you really don't know what the noises are 100%, because let's say it's in a room upstairs and you are downstairs and you're walking by that room. It could confuse, when you review the evidence, you can confuse yourself and say, hey, I just heard footsteps. So that's pretty much what EVP recording is. It's probably the most solid way to build up evidence for a paranormal investigation. It's used all the time in shows and movies and so forth. So let's continue forward. These two devices are very important in paranormal investigation because they're both used for debunking and proving of any sort of paranormal activity in your investigation. So let's take a look at the one on the right here. This device here is pretty much, you can pick it up at any automotive store or Radio Shack. Is Radio Shack even still around? I think all the ones by me closed, so I don't even know. But pretty much what this does is you point the laser, you can probably see the camera there, and it tells you the temperature of the particular object you're pointing to. People use this all the time. I use this for paranormal investigations to test hot spots and cold spots. We'll get to that in more detail in a second. This device to the left is called a Thermometer. This detects both EMF, which I'm going to explain in a minute here, and temperature readings. What's different about this particular piece of equipment, though, is that it detects a general ambience temperature. Meaning it'll give you the general temperature around you at the time. So if you walk into this room, it's about 73 degrees in here, and it will say 73. Unfortunately, the battery died on this, so I cannot show you guys at the moment, but pretty much you use this to get a base temperature reading. Now let's continue forward on the temperature settings. Now it is rumored that spirits and ghosts or energies, when they try to manifest themselves, they use energy around them which could cause the temperature to fluctuate, either go colder or hotter. Hence why you use these to check out temperature readings. And also, more importantly, is you use this to debunk situations. So let's say if you're at someone's house, they claim it's haunted, and they feel a cold breeze come by at this particular spot. You can trace down the cold breeze and see if it's a window or if there's a crack in the foundation, and kind of rule out as many possibilities as you can. Any successful paranormal investigator will try to debunk as most as they can. And if they cannot debunk it, that's when you know when you have a real paranormal situation going on. It's very important in this industry and to other paranormal investigators to be respected and pretty much try to debunk as much as you can, so you're not one of those people who just do it for the views, if you will. So I'm kind of in that boat there where I try to debunk as much as I can. If I cannot, then we pretty much have authentic paranormal event happening. Now, let's talk more about the EMF. This here has a built-in EMF detector. EMF stands for electronic magnetic field. Now, any electronic device will give off some sort of EMF field, outlets, your cell phone, and so forth. So it's good to have this device with you when you're doing an investigation, because some people are sensitive to EMF fields, and if they were to come to you like, hey, I have this feeling that someone's watching me, there's something in this room with me, or I'm getting headaches, I'm getting drowsy anytime I enter this room, it's good to bring this device with you, because what you can do is check the EMF field around that room in this particular example. And if it's higher than normal, you really need to pan around the room and find where that energy is coming from. More than likely, you're going to go up to a wall and it's going to spike up dramatically, and behind that wall there'll be an exposed wire, and the individual is just sensitive to EMF fields, and that'll explain the situation there too. Now, when it comes to paranormal investigations, if you find no wires, or if you're in the middle of the woods where there is no electricity and there's no cell phones around you, no electronic equipment, and it's been reading 0 all night, and all of a sudden it spikes up to like 3 or 6 or even higher, and that my friends, you might have some sort of energy trying to manifest themselves around you. As I explained with the temperature changes, when they manifest, they use energy to try to deliver a message or show themselves to you. Unfortunately, I've never seen a ghost in real life, but hey. And this is what that equipment is used to as well. So if you do happen to be in the woods or somewhere where there's no electricity around and you get an EMF spike, it's a good evidence to show in your documentation saying, hey, there might be something going on in this place. So that's pretty much explains these two pieces of equipment here. It's a very staple assets to have in your equipment toolbox, if you will. And let's go on to the next piece of equipment. Now I saved the best for last. This right here is what they call a spirit box, ghost box. I'm sure there's other nicknames for it as well. This particular model is the SB7 Spirit Box by ATC Research Devices. Pretty much what a spirit box is a device that allows you to communicate with spirits on the other side. In a more technical, non-technical way, it's pretty much a glorified radio that scans through AM and FM radio frequencies at a rapid rate. And if you look in the industry, it says that spirits and energy, forms of energy, either positive or bad, can communicate through white noise. Now, I'm telling you from my personal experience, I've had the most response and the most evidence built upon this device here, where I've had intelligent responses full-blown conversations, I mean the whole nine. This device here is the most important tool that I have when I go ghost hunting. The way it works, as I briefly said before, is you turn the device on and it scans through AM, FM radio frequencies. Just like an EVP session, you ask a question, you cover the speaker though because it's very loud, and you let go and you wait to hear if you hear a response. So in my future videos, you'll see me using this device frequently. Now, let me just show you an example, guys, of how this works. Headphone warning, this might get very loud, so heads up. So we're at FM, then do reverse. So right now it's scanning through all these different radio frequencies at a rapid rate, and at this time you'd ask a series of questions and so forth. Right now it's at 100 milliseconds, which is a little too quick for my liking because it doesn't give a good solid reading. So I do like to slow it down. Oops, let me just turn it back on. As I said, it gets really loud. Let's change this down to like 200. And that's a little bit better. So an example is I would cover the speaker here and say, hey, is there anyone with me right now? And you'd wait to hear a response. Again, that's just an example. I don't think my apartment's that haunted, to be honest with you, though. Another thing, though, is you got to be careful and wary of this device here. Is if you go too slow, you can get a lot of radio frequency. But with that being said, always keep track of how fast that thing. Did you guys see how fast that was going? And a lot of times I've asked a question and it's gone through about like 30 different radio stations and answered a question in like 4 or 5 different words in the same voice. So this device here is very interesting. I've had the best luck with this when doing any sort of paranormal investigation. Alright guys, so that's going to end my video of my equipment. Hope you guys enjoy. If you did, please be sure to hit that like button and subscribe. All that YouTube stuff. Leave a comment. I should be exploring the woods soon if you guys still want me to go. Hope you guys enjoy the video, and I'll see you next time.